3 worst and 4 best luxury sports cars to buy in 2026. 3 luxury sports cars will destroy your wallet in 2026. Not because they're slow, but because owners regret them within the first year. 4 will make you smile every single time you turn the key. And one of them looks perfect on paper, but quietly disappoints buyers who thought they were getting driving nirvana. We tested 7, ranked them by driving feel, comfort, depreciation, and ownership satisfaction. Worst first, let's go. Worst number 3, 2026 BMW Z4, the sports car experts tell you to avoid. Here's the thing about the Z4. It looks gorgeous. That long hood, those sharp lines, BMW badge on the front. You'd think it's a winner. It's not. What's under the hood? 2 engine options. The S-Drive 30i gives you a 2.0-liter turbo 4-cylinder with 255 horsepower. The M40i bumps that to a 3.0-liter inline-6 with 382 horses. On paper, solid. 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds in the M40i. Top speed electronically limited to 155 miles per hour. Sounds like a proper sports car, right? Here's the problem. What car, explicitly called the Z4, the sports car to avoid in 2026? Why? The ride is bouncy and wayward. The brake feel is inconsistent. And when you're pushing it through corners, the car that's supposed to make you feel confident makes you second-guess every input. Bouncy and wayward, inconsistent brake feel. That's not me talking. That's What Car's exact words. Performance context? Sure, it's quick in a straight line. But sports cars aren't just about 0 to 60 times. They're about trust, feel, confidence. And the Z4 doesn't deliver. Price? In the US, the 2026 Z4 starts at $57,275 for the S-Drive 30i. The M40i, $66,700. That's serious money for a car that can't nail the basics. Bottom line, the Z4 is a pretty face with a shaky foundation. If you want a roadster that actually drives like a sports car should, keep scrolling. Drop a comment, Z4 or Boxster, which one would you actually buy? Worst number 2, 2026 Maserati MC20, ballistic speed, brutal depreciation. Now this one hurts because the MC20 is stunning. Mid-engine layout, butterfly doors, Italian drama everywhere you look. And it's genuinely fast. What's under the hood? A 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6 called Nettuno. Maserati built this engine in-house. 621 horsepower, 538 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60, 2.9 seconds. Top speed, 202 miles per hour. This thing is a missile. So why is it on the worst list? 3 reasons. First, depreciation. What car flagged the MC20 as a depreciation risk? And in the luxury sports car world, where you're already spending over $230,000, resale value matters. You're not just buying a car, you're making an investment. And the MC20 is a bad one. Second, the engine sound. For a car at this price point, $230,000 in the US, the engine could sound more charismatic. It's fast, but it doesn't stir your soul the way a Ferrari V8 or a Lamborghini V10 does. Third, the interior. It's fine, but fine isn't good enough when you're spending this kind of money. The cabin lacks the theater, the craftsmanship, the wow factor you get in rivals, like the Ferrari 296 GTB or even the Porsche 911 Turbo S. And bottom line, the MC20 is a beautiful, fast car that doesn't justify its price tag. And when depreciation hits, you'll feel it hard. MC20 or Ferrari 296 GTB, which one gets your money? Vote in the comments. Worst number 1, 2026 Lamborghini Huracan, drama without substance. All right, number 1. And yes, I know this will upset some of you. The Lamborghini Huracan is an icon. That naturally aspirated V10, the looks, the drama. But here's the truth, it's not the best buy in 2026. What's under the hood? A 5.2-liter naturally aspirated V10, 631 horsepower in the Huracan STO, 602 in the EVO, 0 to 60, 2.9 seconds. Top speed, 202 miles per hour, and that V10 sound, pure theater. So why is it number 1 on the worst list? First, handling. The Huracan's handling is described as slightly blunt compared to class leaders like the 911 or the McLaren Artura. It's fast, but it doesn't dance through corners the way you'd expect a $220,000 sports car to. Second, the ride. It's fidgety, especially on rough roads. And if you're buying a sports car in 2026, you want something you can actually drive without your spine filing a complaint. Third, rear-wheel drive models are snappy. Fun? Sure, but also unpredictable if you're not a professional driver. Fourth, price versus the Audi R8. The Huracan shares its platform with the Audi R8. Same V10, same mid-engine layout, but the R8 is cheaper and in many ways more refined. So you're paying extra for the Lamborghini badge, not for a better driving experience. Bottom line, the Huracan is epic automotive theater, but as a daily drivable, confidence-inspiring sports car in 2026, there are better options. Huracan or Audi R8, which one would you actually take home? Drop your answer below. All right, enough pain. Let's talk about the cars that actually get it right. 4 sports cars that blend performance, comfort, and smart ownership into one package. These are the ones you can buy and not regret 6 months later. Best number 4, 2026 Lotus Emira, the last of the analog heroes. Let's start with something special. The Lotus Emira is the last Lotus with a combustion engine, the last of its kind, and it's brilliant. What's under the hood? 2 engine options. The base model gets a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder from Mercedes-AMG, 360 horsepower. But the one you want? The V6, a supercharged 3.5-liter Toyota V6, 400 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60, 4.2 seconds. Top speed? 180 miles per hour, and you can get it with a manual gearbox, a real 3-pedal manual. Why it works? First, the steering. Parkers and CarWow both called it out. The Emira has the best steering feel in its class. Direct, communicative. You know exactly what the front wheels are doing at all times. Second, the ride. Lotus is famous for stiff, unforgiving suspensions. But the Emira? It's actually compliant. You can drive it on bumpy back roads without your kidneys filing for divorce. Third, the looks. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. It turns heads everywhere. Fourth, improved fit and finish. Past Lotus's felt, budget. The Emira doesn't. The cabin is a massive step up. Real quality materials, thoughtful design. What to know? The dash display is a bit dark. Parkers specifically mentioned this. And the cabin materials, while improved, still trail the Porsche Cayman GTS. But here's the thing. The Cayman is end of cycle, limited active safety, and it's about to go electric. The Emira offers a rare blend of analog feel and real-world livability. Price, US, from $109,400. Used models, from around $95,000. Bottom line, the Emira is the last chance to own a proper, analog Lotus with modern usability. And it's brilliant. Emira or Cayman GTS? Which one gets your vote? Let me know below. Best number 3, 2026 Mercedes-AMG SL55, the luxury roadster that became a driver's car. Next up, the Mercedes-AMG SL, and specifically the SL55 MATIC+. This is the sweet spot. What's under the hood? The SL comes with multiple powertrains, from a 2.0-liter 4-cylinder all the way up to a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8. The SL55, that's the V8. 469 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60, 3.8 seconds. Top speed, electronically limited to 155 miles per hour. But here's what makes the SL special. It's not just a cruiser anymore. Why it works. First, it's more driver-focused than older SLs. What car? Praise the new SL for being a proper driver's car. Sharp handling, engaging steering, real feedback. Second, it's still a comfortable cruiser. Long-distance refinement? Check. Smooth ride on the highway? Check. This is a car you can drive across the country without needing a chiropractor. Third, practical 2+2 layout. The rear seats aren't huge, but they're usable for small passengers or extra luggage. Most sports cars force you to choose between performance and practicality. The SL gives you both. Fourth, the tech. Massive screens. The latest MBUX system, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a Burmester sound system that turns the cabin into a concert hall. Trade-offs. First, weight. The SL is heavy, and you can feel it in tight corners. Second, the roof operation. What car? Mention this. Operating the roof while driving is distracting. Just pull over. Takes 15 seconds. Third, interior quality debates. Some reviewers think the cabin feels a bit plasticky for the price. Others love it. Test drive it yourself. Price, US, from around $145,000. Used, from around $110,000. Bottom line, the SL55 is a luxury roadster that finally drives like a sports car. And it's usable every single day. Best number 2, 2026 Aston Martin Vanquish, the V12 GT King. Now we're getting serious. The 2026 Aston Martin Vanquish won the Car Expert's Best Luxury Sports Car 2026 award, and it deserves it. What's under the hood? A twin-turbocharged 5.2-liter V12, 824 horsepower, 738 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 62 miles per hour, 3.2 seconds. Top speed, 214 miles per hour. This is one of the last V12 Grand Tours you'll ever be able to buy. Why it works. First, the performance. Fast doesn't even cover it. This thing is savage, but it's not just straight-line speed. The handling is sharp, the chassis is composed, and the brakes, massive carbon ceramics, are confidence-inspiring. Second, long-distance comfort. The Car Expert and What Car? Both praise the Vanquish for being a genuine GT. You can drive this car 500 miles in a day and step out feeling fresh. Third, the interior. Glamorous. That's the word the Car Expert used. Hand-stitched leather, real metal switchgear, attention to detail everywhere. This isn't just a fast car, it's a piece of art. Fourth, depreciation. Here's the kicker. The Car Expert expects the Vanquish to depreciate slower than rivals. In a segment where cars lose 40 to 50% of their value in 3 years, that's huge. Be aware. First, the price. US. Around $430,000. This is serious money, but you're getting a hand-built end-of-era V12 GT. Second, running costs. V12 engines aren't cheap to maintain. Budget accordingly. Third, the Ferrari 12 Cilindri. Some will argue the Ferrari is the real king, and it's an incredible car. But the Vanquish wins on comfort, depreciation outlook, and award recognition. Bottom line, the Vanquish is the best V12 Grand Tour you can buy in 2026. Fast, comfortable, glamorous, and it'll hold its value better than rivals. Vanquish or Ferrari 12 Cilindri, which one gets your money? Drop your vote below. Best number one, 2026 Porsche 911 992.2, the benchmark. And here we are, number one, the 2026 Porsche 911. If you actually care about ownership and not Instagram clout, this is the car. What's under the hood? The 911 comes with a ridiculous range of engines. The base Carrera, 380 horsepower from a twin-turbo flat six. The Carrera S, 443 horses. The Turbo, 572. The Turbo S, 641 horsepower. 0 to 60 in the Turbo S, 2.6 seconds. Top speed, 205 miles per hour. And every single variant, from the base Carrera to the Turbo S, is brilliant. Why it works. First, the handling. What Car, Parkers, and CarWow all agree, the 911 is the benchmark. Excellent steering, adaptive suspension that's standard across the range, and a chassis that feels alive. Second, usability. You can daily drive a 911. Rear seats for kids, decent trunk space, comfortable ride on the highway. This is a sports car you can actually live with. Third, the interior. High-quality materials, intuitive controls, mature tech that doesn't overwhelm you, and the driving position, perfect. Fourth, resale value. 911s hold their value better than almost any sports car on the market. Buy one, drive it for 3 years, sell it. You won't lose as much as you think. Fifth, the range. Want a daily driver? Get the Carrera. Want a weekend warrior? Carrera S. Want to embarrass supercars? Turbo S. There's a 911 for everyone. Here's a real ownership story. A guy bought a 2019 911 Carrera S, drove it 30,000 miles over 3 years, sold it for 82% of what he paid. Try doing that with a Maserati. Watch outs. First, road noise. What Car? Mention this. The wide tires generate a lot of noise at speed. It's not a deal breaker, but it's there. Second, options are expensive. Porsche's options list is legendary, and not in a good way. A fully spec'd 911 can cost $50,000 more than the base price. Configure carefully. Third, too clinical. Some people think the 911 is too polished, too perfect, not emotional enough. Fair criticism, but here's the thing. Boring and complete are not the same thing. The 911 isn't boring. It's just so good at everything that it makes drama look inefficient. Price, US, from around $120,100 for the Carrera. Used, from around $95,000. Bottom line, the 911 is the sports car you buy when you want performance, usability, and smart ownership in one package. It's not the most dramatic. It's not the loudest. But it's the most complete sports car on the planet. And that's why it's number one. All right, if you're actually shopping for a luxury sports car in 2026, this is the part that matters. First, test drive everything. Don't buy based on specs or YouTube videos. Get behind the wheel. The Z4 looks great on paper, but the ride and brakes will disappoint you. The 911 might feel too clinical for you, or it might feel perfect. You won't know until you drive it. Second, budget for depreciation. The MC20 and Huracan will lose value fast. The Vanquish and 911, much slower. Factor that into your decision. Third, think about daily usability. Can you live with the car every day, or is it a weekend toy? The SL and 911 are brilliant daily drivers. The Huracan, not so much. Fourth, check the options list. Porsche, Aston Martin, and Mercedes all have expensive options. A base 911 at $120,000 can easily become a $170,000 car if you're not careful. Fifth, consider hybrid complexity. The Ferrari 296 GTB is incredible, but it's a hybrid, and hybrids add complexity. If you value simplicity, stick with pure combustion. Sixth, get a pre-purchase inspection, even on a new car, especially if you're buying used. Pay a specialist $500 to check it over. It'll save you $10,000 later. Seventh, warranty strategy. Luxury sports cars are expensive to fix. Extended warranties aren't cheap, but they're worth it. If you ignore everything else, remember this: buy the car that makes you smile every time you see it in your driveway, not the one that looks best on Instagram. All right, let's recap. 3 traps: the Z4, bouncy, wayward, inconsistent brakes; the MC20, depreciation risk, underwhelming sound, weak interior; the Huracan, blunt handling, fidgety ride, no cup holder, and pricey versus the R8. 4 winners: the Emira, last analog Lotus, brilliant steering, real-world usability; the SL55, luxury roadster that drives like a sports car; the Vanquish, V12 GT King, with award-winning comfort and slower depreciation; the 911, the most complete sports car on the planet. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment. Which one would you buy? And what's your dream sports car if money was no object? We do buyer guides like this every single week. Subscribe so you don't buy the wrong car. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.